रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू करूं? ओके, very good morning to all of you once again. Myself Kandar Prai, and I will be taking this session of general knowledge, particularly the economics section today, and that is economics 3 session. Now आज के सेशन को करने से पहले just to share with you, हम लोगों ने अभी तक इकोनॉमिक्स सेशन नंबर 1 में इंडियन इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस कवर किया है। इकोनॉमिक्स नंबर 2 में हम लोगों ने आरबीआई और उसके फंक्शंस को समझा है। मैं आशा करता हूं कि जो सेशंस अभी तक लिए गए हैं वो आप लोगों को समझ में आ रहे होंगे एंड यू विल बी वर्किंग अकॉर्डिंगली। इस सेशन में वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट some very important international institutions which are financial institutions, और आज के इस सेशन में मैं प्राइमरली 4 इंस्टीट्यूशंस को टच करना चाहूँगा और उनको डिटेल में डिस्कशन करेंगे। साथ ही साथ मैं ये बता देना चाहता हूँ आप लोगों को कि देखिए ये जो इंस्टीट्यूशन हम लोग कर रहे हैं और इस सेशन के अंदर अगर हम सिर्फ 4 ही इंस्टीट्यूशंस कवर करते हैं तो इट सर्टेनली डज नॉट मीन दैट वी आर कवरिंग ऑल द इंस्टीट्यूशंस। डेफिनेटली देयर आर सो मेनी इंस्टीट्यूशंस व्हिच यू नीड टू कवर। सो व्हाट यू नीड टू डू अबाउट इट, उसको कैसे कवर कर सकते हैं उसमें मैं आपको गाइडेंस दे सकता हूँ। देखिए उसका तरीका ये है कि जिस लाइंस पर हम इस डेटा को कवर करते हैं, जिस लाइंस पर मैं आपको आज ये 4 इंस्टीट्यूशंस जिसमें वर्ल्ड बैंक, आईएमएफ, डब्ल्यूटीओ और एडीबी आते हैं, जिस लाइंस पर मैं इन चारों को कवर कर रहा हूं उसी लाइंस को आपको आगे प्रोपाउंड करना है, यानी कि उसी लाइंस ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग पर आपको सॉरी आपको जो और फेमस इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनको कवर करना है, राइट। सो लेट मी स्टार्ट डिस्कसिंग द फेमस इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस and see how you need to prepare it well. The topic is famous international financial institutions. I'm going to cover 4 of them. They are World Bank, IMF, WTO and ADB। देखिए इन चारों इंस्टीट्यूशंस को करने से पहले मैं आपको ये समझा देना चाहता हूं कि इन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में क्वेश्चंस कैसे कैसे आते हैं। ओके, कुछ पैरामीटर्स हैं जो आप लोगों को फोकस करना चाहिए जिन पर रेगुलरली क्वेश्चंस आते हैं। इन चारों के ही जो कॉमन पॉइंट्स हैं मैं वो डिस्कस करने जा रहा हूं, जिसमें जो 4 पॉइंट्स निकल के बाहर आते हैं वो कुछ इस प्रकार से हैं। नंबर 1, आपको इनका ईयर ऑफ फाउंडेशन क्लियर होना चाहिए, कौन से ईयर में बना, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। नंबर 2, आपको इनका हेडक्वार्टर पता होना चाहिए। नंबर 3, आपको इसके हेड के बारे में पता होना चाहिए। जब मैं हेड की बात कर रहा हूं तो वो सीईओ हो सकता है, चेयरमैन हो सकता है, एमडी हो सकता है, सीएमडी हो सकता है, डायरेक्टर जनरल हो सकता है, कोई भी डेजिग्नेशन हो सकती है, राइट। सो these are the areas that you need to pay attention to. Okay, and then we have the 4th area, that is members. If they have a member nations, so total members कितने हैं उस पर फोकस होना चाहिए। साथ ही साथ if you can add who is the latest member, I think that would be great. इस पर भी कई सवाल आ जाते हैं। And the last thing, that is you must know the work of that organization, meaning what is the goal of the organization, why the organization is working. So I believe you clearly understand that if you focus on these 5 points, number 1 year of foundation, number 2 headquarter, number 3 head, number 4 members, and number 5 work, I think you are covering it completely. So on these similar lines, let me start teaching you about all these institutions. इनको समझना शुरू करते हैं। सबसे पहले हम डिस्कस करेंगे वर्ल्ड बैंक। देखिए वर्ल्ड बैंक जो है वो इतना सीधा साधा इंस्टीट्यूशन नहीं है। It's quite a detailed organization. So I would like to give you a very small glimpse of that very quickly. बहुत जल्दी उसको समझाने की कोशिश करता हूं। देखिए वर्ल्ड बैंक जो है और अगर मैं IMF भी ले लूं तो दोनों चीजें साथ साथ चल सकती हैं। लेट्स डू देम टुगेदर। सो IMF का मतलब होता है इंटरनेशनल, ठीक है, मॉनेटरी फंड, राइट। नाउ इनकी थोड़ी जेनेसिस समझानी जरूरी है कि शुरुआत कैसे हुई, फटाफट समझते हैं इसको। देखिए वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 जब हुआ था, दैट वाज फ्रॉम द ईयर 1939 टू 1944। तो आफ्टर द सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर द वर्ल्ड रियलाइज्ड दैट देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन fighting with each other because it wastes your energy, your resources, your economic growth is halted, and again it causes mass destruction, lot of life and property is lost in that. So they realize that during this process the major problem that happens is the economic growth that gets stunted. The economic growth is not happening, and whatever has happened is again something which they destroy. So they convened a meeting. Okay, they convened a meeting in the month of I would say December 1944 at a place called Mount Washington Hotel. The name was Mount Washington Hotel, and that was somewhere near NY, probably New York. So in that place is called as Bretton Woods. The place where it happened is called as Bretton Woods. Now this place is very, very important, Bretton Woods. Now Bretton Woods is also known for the initiation of World Bank and IMF. Now the meeting happened just to figure out how to resolve the existing economic problems, how to enhance the economic growth, and how to take care of the futuristic crisis that can happen in the financial world. So they came up, after this meeting, they came up with two institutions, and these institutions are, one is IMF, other one is World Bank. This is it. So because these two institutions came out of Bretton Woods, therefore these two institutions are also known as Bretton Woods twins. ये क्वेश्चन है जो टिपिकली आपके एग्जाम में आता है। ब्रेटन वुड ट्विंस किसको कहते हैं? ब्रेटन वुड ट्विंस IMF और वर्ल्ड बैंक दोनों को कहते हैं। ट्विन माने जुड़वा, एक साथ दोनों के दोनों बने हैं, therefore it's twins, right? You need to understand this कि जब ये बने तो इनके फंक्शंस डिफाइन, इनके जो बेसिक पैरामीटर्स हैं पहले उनकी डिस्कशन कर लेते हैं। जैसा मैंने आपको बताया था, जस्ट टू शेयर विद यू, इनका जो पहला डेटा है वो है ईयर ऑफ फाउंडेशन, एंड दैट इज 1945। बोथ ऑफ देम वर सिमिलर, दोनों साथ साथ वापस आए हैं, देयरफॉर साथ साथ एमर्ज हुए हैं, देयरफॉर दोनों का ईयर ऑफ फाउंडेशन सेम होगा, दैट इज 1945। देन वी हैव द सेकंड थिंग, एंड दैट इज द हेडक्वार्टर। बिकॉज बोथ ऑफ देम वर सिमिलर, बोथ ऑफ देम आर हेडक्वार्टर्ड एट वॉशिंगटन DC। वॉशिंगटन DC में हेडक्वार्टर्ड है, तो दोनों का हेडक्वार्टर सेम है, हेडक्वार्टर इज वॉशिंगटन DC। Okay, please know there is a rule, and the rule says that if a country is a member of IMF, it will automatically be the member of World Bank because they are twins, right? So the number of nations will be same surely. Third one is total member nations. Total members 189, same here, total members 189. Now if you talk about the latest one, latest being Nauru. Nauru is the name of a country. So Nauru is the name of a country. So it is the place, this country is the latest member to join it, right? And then we are left with the heads of the organization. Let me tell you, the designations are different. Okay, if you talk about the designation of World Bank, the head of the World Bank, it's different. If you talk about the IMF, it is different. For example, in case of World Bank, we have the post of president, okay, and the person who is heading it is originally from South Korea, please note, but now he is a US citizen. He's a US citizen, and his name is, I'm telling you the nationality because sometimes they ask question about it, you know, where does this person belong to? So it's another question, right? The name of that person is Mr. Jim Yong Kim. Dr. Jim Yong Kim is the president of the World Bank. A very interesting observation. Similarly, in case of IMF, the designation is different. It is called as managing director, and this lady is the finance minister of France, and she has been reappointed as the MD. Her name is Christine Lagarde. Christine Lagarde. Very, very important data. It comes in your paper. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, if you talk about the parameters, we have done it. You know, foundation year, headquarter, vagara, vagara, vagara. The only difference in these two major institutions is of work. Work ka difference hai. Now, let us understand it very, very quickly. Let's understand what is the meaning of work here and what kind of work that they do. So, for that, let me rub it. Let me rub this one and explain it to you what it's all about. I hope it is all clear. अभी तक जो पढ़ा गया clear हो गया होगा. देखिए, सबसे पहले I would like to talk about the functions of World Bank and IMF in detail, and then I will talk about the structure of World Bank also, which is very, very critical here. If you ask me what is the function of World Bank, then the answer would be, the goal says to eliminate poverty from the world in a lasting manner. This is the website of World Bank proclaims, to eliminate poverty from the world in a lasting manner. It means, or you can say that, it provides soft loan to the member nations for their economic growth. Okay. Now, please understand that when I say World Bank provide loans for the economic growth, the meaning is that World Bank gives funding to them, it charges interest on that, and the purpose is economic growth. The purpose is not financial help, financial crisis help. Okay. Suppose India is a country, India wants to grow really fast. For that, India requires a lot of money. Now, India is not dying because of lack of money here. Everything is happening. Kids are going to school, people are working, people are earning, people are spending, roads are there, transport is there, railway network is there, and air network is there, water network is there, schools are there, health, the hospitals are there. So, things are there normally. But if India wants to speeden up that, wants to fasten up that, and therefore India requires money, so India can take loans from World Bank and then can work accordingly, right? So, the purpose is developmental purpose. That is the goal of the World Bank. Please know, World Bank does not give loan in case of financial crisis or in case of some natural calamity or or some other reasons. So, the primary purpose is to facilitate the growth of the economy of the nation involved. I hope it is very, very clear to you. Now, when I talk of World Bank, I would like to give you the structure also very quickly. Please note the structure of the World Bank. There are 5 institutions called first one is called as IBRD, second one is called as IDA, third one is called as IFC, fourth one is called as MIGA, and the fifth one is called as ICSID. Please note, I will not write it here, I am just speaking to you. I hope it's visible now. The first thing is IBRD is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. IDA is International Development Association. IFC is International Finance Corporation. MIGA is Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. And ICSID is International Center for Settlement of Investment Related Disputes. So, I would like to highlight here that you don't have to go into the details of that because your examination does not demand that depthful questions. But you please understand a very basic fact, and the fact is that if you do this much, that is IBRD plus IDA, this is called as World Bank. So, don't confuse that World Bank is a building or a single institution, it is not so. World Bank comprises two institutions. One is IBRD, other one is IDA. This is the clarity. And if you talk about all of them, all of them, so that is called as World Bank Group, or in other words we can say that World Bank Group is nothing but World Bank plus these three institutions. I hope it is clear, right? This one, and this one. So what is the difference in World Bank and World Bank Group? If they ask you question, which of the following is not a member of World Bank Group? Options are IFC, MIGA, ICSAT and IMF. The answer is IMF. IMF is not a part of World Bank Group, right? So the learning here is that these five is called as World Bank Group. First we will go to the World Bank. Clear? Guys, I am purposefully refraining myself from explaining about it because it's not required. Please note this much, that is good enough. Would like to move on to IMF now and would like to understand what is the function of IMF. Now, if you talk about the functions of IMF, then I would say that the difference between the functions of World Bank and IMF is that IMF provides loans to the member nations in case of financial crisis. So, IMF functions. So, IMF के functions की अगर बात करें तो they have got threefold functions. One is to provide financial assistance to the member nations in case of financial crisis only, like BOP crisis in 1991 in case of India. So whenever there is a financial crisis, please understand, crisis is different. Economic growth is another concept, but crisis is different. Crisis means it's a catastrophic situation. Things, if not taken properly, if not solved properly, then they may blow things out of proportion. So whenever there is a crisis situation, it is the IMF that functions. When there is the normal growth related data, it is the World Bank that functions. This is main and the most important differentiating function of IMF from the World Bank. Number two is to keep surveillance of the world economy. It means it's a kind of a, IMF is also known as economic watchdog. IMF is also known as economic watchdog. Why? Because it keeps a track of the economies of the world. It keeps a track of it. Matlab, at three levels, at a country level, at a regional level, that is the continental level, and at the world level. So you need to understand this, that IMF keeps a surveillance. What is the meaning of surveillance here? Surveillance means that IMF keeps track whether the conditions of the economies are okay or not. If there is a crisis that is brewing within, so it wants to eliminate that crisis, wants to solve the crisis before it blows proportions. So it's a watchdog. It keeps a tab on fiscal deficit, keeps a tab on foreign exchange, keeps a tab on inflation, on taxes and the other policies of the country, so that if there is a crisis that is brewing up, that can be resolved before it actually happens. Now let me tell you, IMF is an important institution, and just to share with you, if a country becomes a member of IMF or World Bank, then there is an account that is opened of that particular country. Okay, so you need to understand that account is maintained by financial experts. They take care of all these things, and they keep on reminding the country that there is a crisis happening, there is a problem happening, and you need to take corrective measures for that, right? So IMF takes care of the economies in terms of observing them, so that there is no problem that happens. And if the problem happens, then in that case, IMF provides financial assistance when the crisis is there. And the last function is to maintain financial stability through exchange रेट मैनेजमेंट। इन अदर वर्ड्स, ये जो हमारी करेंसीज में एक्सचेंज रेट होता है उसको भी मैनेज करने का फैसिलिटेशन आईएमएफ करता है, एंड दैट हेल्प्स इन फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी मैनेजमेंट, राइट? सो फ्रेंड्स, this is all about IMF and World Bank. Tell you very quickly, if a country becomes a member of IMF, it automatically becomes a member of World Bank. The criteria is that they give money to IMF. The funding is given according to the GDP size, and that money is utilized by the other nations for their economic growth, or in case of any kind of financial crisis, by the country who is giving it, or the countries who are part of the World Bank or IMF, right? So, just to share with you, IMF and World Bank are pillars of the economies of the world, and therefore they are very, very important institutions. Lot of things are possible, lot of questions can come from that. I would like to move on to the third important institution. I hope it is all clear. Let's move on to the third one, and the third institution is, it is called as ADB. Now, when I say ADB, so ADB means Asian Development Bank, okay? And just to share with you, just like in Gita, लॉर्ड कृष्णा सेज नो, ऐसा कहा जाता है कि जो अच्छे कार्य बड़े लोग करते हैं उनके पद चिन्हों का अनुसरण किया जाता है. सो सिमिलर लाइंस पर वर्ल्ड बैंक इज अ वेरी गुड इंस्टीट्यूशन, टेक्स केयर ऑफ द इकोनॉमी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ पॉवर्टी एंड ऑल. सो देयर इज अनदर इंस्टीट्यूशन व्हिच वर्क्स ऑन द लाइंस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड बैंक, बट द एरिया ऑफ कंसर्न इज डिफरेंट हियर. In case of World Bank, the whole world is the arena, whereas in case of ADB, the area is confined to Asia Pacific region. The line of working is absolutely similar. Let us understand what is there in ADB. ADB के कुछ बेसिक पैरामीटर्स टच कर लेते हैं. इसका मेन फंक्शन होता है is to provide function. I'm talking about the function of ADB first. To provide financial assistance to the member nations for economic growth. So it works on the line of World Bank. It's not there to help them in the, in the financial crisis condition. It's not so. By the way, this institution, it works on the lines of World Bank. So it replicates World Bank, works on the lines of the World Bank, and this is primarily meant for Asia Pacific region. All right. Would like to highlight some facts here. ADB was instituted in the year 1966. It is the year of establishment. Okay. Total members 667. These are the total members. By the way, there is no special or new member as such, so I will not add value to that. If you split 67, it becomes 48 plus 19, whereas 48 are regional members and 19 are non-regional members. Okay. Headquartered at the capital of Philippines, that is Manila. This is a typical question, comes many times in your papers, and it is headed by the president. The president is a Japanese person. His nationality is Japan. He is a Japanese national. He is Mr. टेढ़ा मेरा नाम है, थोड़ा ध्यान से करना, टाके हिको नाकाओ. So he is the president of ADB. Guys, mark my words, the president and the headquarter, both of them are equally important. Many times, lot of questions have come from that. So with this, we conclude ADB. I hope it is very clear. Let me move on to the last topic of the session today, and that is WTO. Let's understand very, very quickly what is WTO. WTO को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, और WTO क्या करता है उसको समझाने के बाद we'll call this session. Right? So, when I say it's WTO, let us understand that WTO is called as World Trade Organization. Okay, and its year of establishment is January 1, 1995. Its headquarters at Geneva, Switzerland, a nice place I want to go there, probably I'll go, no second thoughts. Then it has got the Director General, the DG, the post is DG. His name is a long one. His name is Roberto Carvalho D. Azevedo. Guys, surprisingly, it's a long name, and this man hails from none other than Brazil. He's a Brazilian diplomat. So the nationality is Brazil. Then we have total member nations. Total members are, just to share with you, are 164, latest being Afghanistan. So kindly note these facts. These are very, very important data. They can surely come in your paper, no second thought about it. So friends, when I'm talking about this, I hope it is clearly understood what is the WTO all about. Now let us understand the genesis of the World Bank and the functions of World Bank that it does, right? Very, very quickly. बहुत जल्दी से समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि वर्ल्ड बैंक एग्जैक्टली करता क्या है और बना कैसे। देखिए, आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि जो 1940 से लेके 1950 तक का पीरियड है वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। दुनिया में यूएन बना, GATT बना, वर्ल्ड बैंक बना, IMF बना, 40 to 50 के पीरियड में बने सारे के सारे। So if I look at an institution called GATT, that is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So this was established on January 1, 1948. Okay. Now this was the original institution actually, GATT. The purpose of GATT was to resolve the trade related fairs issues or trades of goods and services related issues after the World War II. But it was not very effective. It was not doing its duty properly. There were some sessions used to happen, round of negotiations used to happen, not very, very effective. But post 1990, the world witnessed globalization. And when the trade started happening in globalization, so issues also started cropping up. So the GATT which was there earlier was not sufficient to handle the present day problems. Therefore, they came up with a new avatar of GATT, and that is called as WTO. So that is how WTO evolved. So GATT in a new avatar is called as WTO. Right? Now let's look at the functions of WTO very quickly. Functions क्या होते हैं WTO के? Number 1 is to regulate free and fair trade amongst members. जो member nations हैं उसके amongst free and fair trade को regulate करने का कार्य is done by the WTO. The second one is resolve trade conflicts, यानी ट्रेड के अंदर अगर कुछ अगर झगड़ा हो जाता है, झंझट होता है, उसको रिजॉल्व करने का कार्य. थर्ड वन इज मेक रूल्स ऑफ द ग्लोबल ट्रेड. पूरे विश्व में जो ट्रेड होता है उसके रूल्स बनाने का कार्य भी WTO करता है. एंड फोर्थ इज टू प्रोवाइड टेक्निकल असिस्टेंस to member nations. So friends, overall speaking, it has to do with the regulation of the trade in the world body, and wherever there are problems, it helps in resolving that. Let me give you an example here. The member nations are encouraged to do free and fair trade, so that through trade economic empowerment can happen. Suppose there is a conflict, so it resolves the conflicts. For example, there is a conflict between India and America of late. India is, India gets a lot of poultry products from America. India does import that. So of late there was the H1N1 scare that happened. That's why India stopped taking poultry products from America. So America went to WTO and it said that our trade is disrupted. That's why we are having a lot of losses. So he made his point very strongly. He said that our products are thoroughly tested. They don't have any contamination of H1N1 and so on and so forth. And gradually the issue was resolved. So please understand, if there is a trade conflict that is resolved, Then making rules of the global trade, WTO meetings keeps on happening, please note. So the WTO meetings are very, very important. Latest meet that happened was, just to share with you, it's in Argentina, and Argentina is the capital. The capital is Buenos Aires. Okay. It was the 11th ministerial meet. Probably it happened or did not happen. Please just cross check. It was in the news for sure. They do ask a question, which number meet happened, where did it happen, this is the regular data. In their meeting, all the world bodies, world institutions come, countries come, they discuss the problems, and WTO makes some rules also, which needs to be followed by all of them. So making rule, point number 3 is again a WTO function. And the last thing is to provide technical assistance. Sure, if there is a country that is going through a confusion, how to go about it, how to increase the trade and all, so WTO does give impetus on that as well. So with this, friends, we conclude WTO, and I hope it is all very, very clear. So I think that whatever I am sharing with you, it's very clear, and you don't have any conclusions. Don't have any confusions. So with this, I would like to conclude this session today. Thank you very much. Wish you all the very best. Take care. Bye bye for now.